Joseph,
Howdy,
how are you,
stranger.
buddy? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you again.
Yes, good to see you
Welcome back.
too. Thank you.
Who was the second pick when you were the first pick?
Jim Brewer.
Remember your matchup? First time?
I don't, because it was Philadelphia, Cleveland, and so I don't think that was on NBA TV on that particular night. So
And you don't remember anything about it?
I don't. I don't. My first year also too was a little bit of a bust. I'd broken my foot 6 weeks before the season started, and then I tried to come back and play, and played 25 games with a broken foot before I. So a lot of that was a blur my first year. Really wasn't playing healthy.
Do you talk to Evan about not worrying about the 1-2 thing?
I don't really say much. I mean, you know, these guys are so much bombarded with things today, Bob. I think they've learned to understand, you know, what this is all about. I just want them to relax and play and just enjoy the game. And so if you do that, you start putting too much pressure on yourself, or who's going to win the matchup or whatever, then it usually ends up, you know, blowing up on you. And I don't want him to think like that.
So with this year with Thad's contract, is that something you talk to him about what you want from his game going forward? Does he play differently? Do you talk to him at all about that?
I don't, Kate. I stay out of that contractual things because, you know, I want to separate the business aspect of it from my personal relationship and coaching him. And, you know, Thad is ultra sensitive and one of my favorite guys. And I don't want him to put that pressure. It's almost like Bob asking about the matchup with, you know, with John Wall and Evan. You know, where Thad is out there, you know, thinking every single night, you know, I want to play great so I can get a contract extension or whatever, and puts way too much pressure on you. And I'm still getting to learn these guys, Kate. I mean, from his standpoint, I mean, he was a 4-man, and then, you know, 2 years ago, and then he was a 3, and then, you know, now he's coming off the bench as a 4, and I'm using him as a 3 in some situations. So, I mean, he's still getting his feet under him as well as myself in terms of just how to best utilize him. But he's one of the nicest young men I've ever been around, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I just don't want him, because he will take things to heart, and it will bother him, and I don't want that to happen.
Have you seen that happen before with guys, like, you know, maybe they can get the extension they want, affects them either positively or negatively during the season?
You know what, I would have to, you know, right now off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody, but I'm sure, and I've been in this business 38 years, so I'm sure either as a former player, as a former coach, I'm sure somewhere along the line, you know, maybe a guy wasn't happy with the fact that he didn't get the extension that he wanted or whatever. So, and again, I try to separate that because, you know, it's my job to try to develop all these players and try to win games. And at the same time, I know that at the end of the day, these guys all want playing time, and so if they can play well, and the better they play, you know, the more money they can make. So, and there's a lot, obviously a lot that's at stake with these young guys. And I think also, too, with this being a year that new collective bargaining, there's a lot of angst with a lot of players on can they get that extension and before you get into that next collective bargaining. So I'm sure this is a unique year in a lot of different ways.
Not sure how much you've seen him, but what are your impressions of John's game?
Well, I've seen John Wall since he was in high school. You know, my son coaches down at Duke.
Right.
So I used to go down and watch some of his high school games and see him. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, he is a first of all, he's a point guard. I mean, you know, and when I say that, a lot of guys get brought up and they say they're point guards, where really they are not. And John Wall is a point guard. He's a leader. He's a winner. Speed, strength, size, and he's going to be a guy that's going to be able to make a lot of shots in this league too. I know a lot of these teams on these pick and rolls now are challenging him to make jump shots, but his stroke is too good, and he's going to be an amazing player if he stays healthy. And let's hope he does.
I want to ask you just about being back in DC. You've been here for 2 years. How was it different now coaching now 7 years later?
First of all, I had a great time in DC. I've seen a lot of great faces, familiar faces that I've had a chance to know for 2 years. Being in this building today, just walking around, a lot of the people who do security, a lot of the ushers, some of the guys who used to travel with us and be our security. Walking in the city today, in fact, I texted Michael Jordan last night and I said, you know, Michael, just walk around the city, and it brings back a lot of memories of being here with you. This is a wonderful basketball city. My wife and I loved it here. We loved the vibrance of being downtown. We'd never lived like that before. We'd always been suburbans with our children. It was the first time we'd ever lived in the city. We'd get out and walk, and in fact, my wife took the train down today to come down and see her friends to watch the game. So the one thing I feel good about is that wherever I've been, I've always felt like I've tried to leave it a better place, number one. Number two, I've always made a lot of friends. And at the end of the day, wins, loses, whatever, as much as we, live and die by those as coaches, it's all about relationships and people, and that's one thing I've always tried to build. And I have a lot of friends here, which I'm thankful for.
What
Did
you learn
Michael
from
text?
that?
Did Michael text you back?
Oh yeah. He just, I just said walking around. He said, "That great, how you doing?" Because we don't get a chance to talk much or whatever. And I think he was watching a baseball game or something like that. And I was just asking him how his kids were doing, because both the boys are down in Orlando now, and I know Jasmine's got to be close to being probably a senior in high school or maybe even in college right now. But we don't get a chance to see each other that much. I don't bug him, or but when I get a chance to see him, it's special. And it just, being here reminded me, last night a couple of my coaches and I, we walked down past the White House and walked around, and I just remember being in the city, and they say what they want to say, but basketball was alive here when MJ was here. I mean, he put people in these seats, and had he not got hurt his first year here, we'd have made the playoffs, and maybe even the second year. So I'm proud of being here and being part of that, and I think Mrs. Poland's going to be at the game tonight for the first time, so it's going to be nice to see her. They were always very, very nice to me, and I was sorry to see Mr. Poland pass away. And I think Miss Poland, they said this is going to be her first game here tonight, so I hope I get a chance to say hi to her.
How are you